You guys are talking about the wrong stuff. The patch ruined bee-hopping and
That's true.
animations. So that's the real thing here. I don't care they opened up a window inferno. I can't be hot.
2 years, so.
I just don't like him. He's a little.
Hey.
He's like a squirrel.
He's a squirrel. Wow. Wow.
Today we are discussing IEM Cologne and all things Counter-Strike on Queued Up, where the lobby is open, the mics are hot, and nobody is dodging. With me today, Patrick, Davis, Dylan. I'm CJ. We're talking IEM Cologne. What has been the most exciting match that you've seen in play-ins? Go, Dylan.
Falcons getting bounced.
Well, no, that's obviously the. We're talking about that later. No, you have to pick a different one.
Bounced. Final answer.
Well, I mean, that has definitely been the story
100%.
that we've gone through. Especially because it's so. I really wanted the Falcons to do well, and the fact that they're not even in it is very disappointing for me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Once they picked up Mondesi, like Mondesi's always kind of been my favorite player, and once they picked him up, I've just kind of jumped to their bandwagon, and they just have not performed like at all.
Falcons, Man City, ugh.
Exactly.
That money just hits.
Yep. Money hits different.
I thought Astralis would be a bigger story too. They look a lot better, and they made it through in the top of the bracket for the play-ins. I liked watching them. I think they look a lot better with Hooksy. Obviously, they're not making it all the way to the playoffs, but that was one of the play-ins for me that was like.
Yeah, I was a big team, all jokes aside. I also want to see Snow and his squad and Payne do pretty well, but came up a little bit short. It just feels like a lot of those teams that we got to see a little bit of fissure, got to see a little bit of the major. It's like they just still feel like the outside teams. They feel like they're in the play-ins for a reason. You don't really think any of those guys are going to make crazy runs to make it all the way to the bracket.
That's one of the things with Stage 1 for a lot of the tournaments, too. It's like there's a huge disparity between a Stage 1, 2, or 3 team and and pretty much every tournament we watch.
Yeah. And to me, it's like they're honestly, in my opinion, they're kind of close, but then there's those select few that are like those final boss teams. Like you have your Mongols, you have your Vitalities, your Spirits, Maos. Those are like your 4 final bosses, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just kind of like, who can beat who. I actually think it's really cool, though, to see, like you said, Astralis, teams that are making moves like that are improving. It's really good to see. Navi as well.
Yeah, Navi too.
Yeah, I mean, FaZe is normally in the Stage 1 play-ins as well, who they have historically gone a little bit further. They look a little bit more refined, and maybe that's because of the names on the team. You know, obviously they've had their woes as well. But that's one that normally is in the Stage 1 that I'm kind of rooting for through the whole way.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest piece on FaZe is always that I don't think their talent always performs, but Kerrigan is an incredible IGL, and it feels like they always make enough plays to find their way in, but they just don't have the firepower to beat anybody in the top 5. Like, they're not close. It sucks.
It does. Agreed. And then the other one in there for me is Liquid.
Yep.
Liquid's one of those teams where, I want them to be Liquid.
Yeah.
They're not. They're solid.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. They're solid. Yeah, they're just not. They hadn't got there yet.
I actually think they are Liquid. That is the problem. If they were solid, they would keep playing. But because they're not solid, they're not.
Yeah, true that.
And Naf had his worst map in any tournament ever. So Naf is.
The big surprise for me here was Twist. I mean, Twist is a player that's definitely like really, really good. Has played at the top level of Counter-Strike for a while, and he just didn't show up here against some of his old buddies.
Yeah. Also, I mean, they got another guy I like to cheer for all the time, Suhi over there, hopefully slaying out, but not showing up. Since they got him on the roster, you've wanted them to make that next step, because it also felt like G2 lost enough players to where you thought they would be stepping down. Navi looked bad. They looked like they were stepping down. FaZe looked like they were stepping down. You're like, all right, TL's actually going to be able to make a run, and FaZe is still beating them. Everybody else is still beating them. It's still not close.
Those other teams that you mentioned, they're just going farther than Liquid as well. So I thought that was weird too.
The woes of our Stage 1, our complexities are gone too, all those guys that are in there.
Poor America.
Yeah.
Typical.
Poor America.
Typical America. We can't do it. Stage 2, we had some of the introduction of the other teams that we're talking about. Specifically, we got to watch the Falcons and the Mongols play each other.
Yeah.
I was really hyped for that matchup. Like we were talking about earlier, I really wanted the Falcons to win because I like Mondesi and I like the Falcons. But it's always fun watching the Mongols, especially like since their run at the major, and just the hype that they bring to the events is super fun. And Sinzu, the person in this match for me, he was like unkillable. He was just popping off.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting too. Kayusuke at the top of that leaderboard, by far for the Falcons.
Yeah.
You think Mondesi and Nico are going to be in that conversation as well, but they had this series was not great for them.
Yeah, this was an absolute stinker for them.
Yeah, they held it down to the bottom. I mean, Mondesi didn't show up, and what do you want?
That seems to be his story, is he doesn't show up sometimes. That's what's just wild to me about it because Monty normally is put up there in like the top 3 players in Counter Strike, and I think he deserves to be there. Before I go forward, before I get any hate, he is a talented player.
Yeah.
But he just seems like he's very hit or miss. You know, if he's on, he's on, and he will carry the team, and he will hit some crazy shots with his op. But when he's down, whether they played bad and maybe he's feeling a certain type of way or something, he will just drop the ball, unfortunately.
I do have, like, the Falcons do seem like an emotional team for me. When you're watching them play, there's a wide range of emotions from that group.
It's interesting because they play almost like a double down mentality, which is odd, and they're like the only team in Counter-Strike I feel that's like this. It's like if Zywoo is missing op shots, he picks up an AK and he does pretty well with an AK. If Monty is missing op shots, somebody else buys him an op and he keeps missing op shots. Same thing with Nico. It's like if Nico starts missing, he does the same thing. And it's like they just don't improve. It's like the timeouts don't seem effective. They don't change their pace. They don't change their plays. It just feels like once they're stuck in the rut, there is no return. Now, before they get stuck in a rut, they might be the second best team in the world. But then they get stuck in a rut, and they're like the 10th best team in the world.
Well, they are kind of playing, I mean, for that series, they were playing against the Mongols, who has historically been kind of this 2 or 3 through the whole year, right? It's like the Mongols are the team that I really was, when we first started getting into the rankings for this year, I was like, oh, the Mongols, like, I want them to win. And they were kind of falling a little bit shorter where they were getting 4th and 3rd. And now they've kind of solidified themselves as this number 2 team. The next match they did play was Vitality, and they did get bounced 2-0 by Vitality.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's like that is a roster where I think the Mongols do have what it takes to be the champions. It's just, I feel like they have the Vitality Kryptonite here at times, right?
Hold on, wait a minute. I think you said you have them as number 2 team.
I do.
Solidified number 2.
I think they're number 2 team. Who's the number 2
That's
team?
crazy.
Well, it depends. If they get that major bracket where it's them basically playing a bunch of retirement community and
Bunch of down.
Dude,
Yeah,
I would
bunch of
put
times.
Mal's over them.
Yeah.
I would put Spirit over them.
yeah.
I don't know if I would put Spirit. I think they're falling right in that range. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think at the beginning of the year they were a little shaky, but 9-10, especially for me, is the player that's gotten back to what he was last year. Like 2024, he was a great player. He was kind of iffy at the start of this year, but he's really, really been solid. This match that we just talked about, Vitality, do not judge him off that because they were playing a different beast that game.
We're going to see a
he's been
Spirit.
really
Sure,
good.
sure. My thing is, though, even if you want to compare him to that, though, Spirit has taken maps off of Vitality. Mals have taken maps off of Vitality. They have shown that if the stars align, it's possible that they could beat them. The Mongols just got smoked.
Yeah,
like, there was
they got
no star alignment. There was no squint your eyes and tilt your head and hope they could beat them. It's like, no, this isn't. You're not there yet, Chief. It's cool. Rerun it. Go to the other side of the bracket. Beat some bad
Top
kids.
5, that's cool.
Yeah.
No way. We're going to see.
No way they're not top 5.
No.
They're bottom.
I think they're ahead of Spirit.
When we look forward to the bracket, if some decisions were made in this bracket, they would indicate that Mongols are a top 2 team. Whew. But we'll get there. We'll get there.
Next one up was Furia versus Falcons. Didn't turn out so good for the Falcons here.
This
good.
is very true.
At least
Look at that
Monesi
guy at the
improved.
bottom down there.
Yeah, at least Monesi improved, but Nico this tournament has just been irrelevant. Like he couldn't do anything. Kyosuke is like an unkillable demon king, and Nico can't get a kill. So
I do also want to shout out. I mean, I know that the Falcons are going to get all the hype about this because it is a funny bit that they've lost. But Quesarado and Maladoy both played incredible, and even though their stat lines, they were top of the leaderboard for their team, but like they just always performed when they needed it, and it felt like nobody on the Falcons understood that memo. It's like, hey, if we win here, we pop their eco, we'll get 3 straight. We lost that one. But it's like you need that out of Quesarado or you need that out of Maladoy grabbing an op. It's like they always clutched up those moments. They always got it done, and that is why they won the series.
Well, Falcons also looked terrible in Dust 2.
Yeah.
Like against the Mongols, they played it terrible, and Furia, they also played it. I feel like they don't have a strategy they want to employ. They just kind of do default, and there's nothing special about it. It's like one person cat, one person long, one person mid, 2 at B. Good luck, right? And they're not like you normally would want to see something like them entering bottom middle or something like that, getting a little bit of space there, but they have not trying anything, and it looks like they're just kind of stalemate in that whole.
I mean, easy an example is they lost that 4v1 play on Dust too.
Crazy.
And the
Against Blitz,
player
yeah.
has 36 health or something like that. And you all 4 just go up from mid and just lines up. It's like, bro, like send somebody tons and W key at least so he knows they're there.
And like I kind of want to like make the excuse of like, yeah, they have a new player on their roster, so like they're trying to figure out their strats and everything. But then you look at the other teams who have also just made changes and who are playing very well and showing the improvement. And then you have this where Kyosuke comes into the roster, and it's just continued to kind of stall out for them, in my opinion. So it's really weird what they're trying to build and just can't figure it out. Because they have the firepower. There's no question about it.
It's also, he's an improvement. When I look at the Spirit side, it's like when you have Zwei coming in, it's like, you know, we can make fun of Magic all we want, but like they did at times perform. They did at times do well. And it seems that Zwei is able to do at least the same. Maybe better, but at least the same. And like Kyosuke is way better than the other Magics. Like significant improvement. Everyone else is just doing worse.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Group B, though, let's look at that. Mal's Spirit. That one happened.
Hey, finally got it done.
Yeah, they finally got it
Slade
done.
Dean.
Yeah,
Finally won.
I'm proud. Hey,
For me,
it takes some
So
overtime.
it is an improvement.
It is.
I think it's an improvement. I want to say, I just think, don't get me wrong, I think Mouse is a really good team, but I want to talk about, we talked about it actually on the last queued up where we were talking about Call of Duty. I think I see Mouse just like the way I see Vancouver Surge. I think they are a strategically good team. I don't see them with the firepower to really, really compete at the highest level, and I think that's what's happening here. Spirit is showing they got a new player, they're making improvements to their roster, and then once that improves, Mouse just, I don't think is going to be able to compete with them.
Man, it's going to hurt, but we're saying Spirit or the Heretics with Rencor. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
A little donk action? Because it does feel like, it feels like they make a lot of the correct moves, but this is just one of those where Donk wanted to win today. And it is what it is. You can't stop that kid when he wants to win. He runs into a site, drops 4 of your dudes, and his team can hopefully win the 4v1.
It's actually insane watching them play because there was so many rounds today like that, like you just said. Like he's just entering into the site, killing 3, and it's like the team's just following behind him like, thank you for clearing the space.
Totally.
And then they literally can't, sometimes they can't get the last 2 kills. It's like a 4-on-2
100%.
and they can't do it. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
Yeah.
Maybe this is just me, but obviously the team to beat is Vitality, right? I think Spirit has, out of the 3 that are in the conversation, which is Maus, Mongols, and Spirit is the bottom of that for me.
But I think they would be the one you would be least surprised if they beat Vitality. Because all you need is Shiro and one other player to play halfway decent, and I will take Donk versus any 2 players in the world in a 2v1. Now, the other 3, I think if you put Donk, if Donk gets 2 kills every single round versus Vitality, I don't trust his team to win the 3v4 at all. Now, if he has one other player that plays well, I believe it. There's no person on Mal's that gives me that confidence. There's no person on Mongols that gives me that confidence. Yeah. You couldn't do that for a series. Donk can consistently carry for a series.
Yeah.
I mean, Maus is one of the only teams that have taken a map off of Vitality.
And they did it as a good team.
Yeah.
But not with a hard carry.
It was on a Mirage, too, so it was like...
And an Inferno.
Yeah, Exertion went off for that one, and Torzi went off for that. So those are the 2. I think those 2 have... I don't believe they're better than the Donk squad overall. Like, I still take Team Spirit in different ways against Maus, but specifically against Vitality, I take Maus over Spirit every time. I just... It's crazy. Donk has not been able to do it against them. So
like, well, he has done it. The rest of the team has not.
Spirit haven't taken a map off Vitality.
Yeah.
I think they've been. I think it's been rough.
When?
3 total this year.
When? What map was it?
They beat him in Blast, which they won this year, which had Rops. That's the last time they've lost.
Well, that was the first
January.
Yeah.
And then since then, they've taken a couple more maps off of him. And not been able to beat him in series.
I think Spirit's had a rough start to the year, but I think it's like strategically and vibes placing. But I think they just have the firepower, like we're saying. Like Donk is an actual demon, and like don't get me wrong, Torzi's really good, Zerjan's really good, but I don't see them being at that level of like one of the best players in the game. Like they're great players, but one of the best in the game, they're just not there for me.
It literally just feels like they're a slightly worse version of Vitality. Like Vitality is an incredibly well-averaged team. Like sure, Zaiwu is the main slayer, Rops is right there, but it's like the difference from Zaiwu to Apex is not crazy. The difference between the Brolin to Torzi is not crazy. The difference from Donk to Shiro is crazy.
I don't know. That's weird.
Yeah, true.
That is weird. The other 2 teams that are in this conversation that I don't have any faith in at all, Nip and Navi, they played against each other. I do like Navi over Nip for sure, and obviously they took this series down, and they've gone through their woes this year, but they made it to the playoffs. So
it is also impressive on the note of new players. You replace JL with basically one of your best kid on Academy. So we are seeing some new kids come in and do decently well. I mean, he's obviously bottom of the leaderboard, but like for coming in and playing real teams that are real opponents that have been doing this for a long time from an Academy team, it's like that's as good as you could expect, which is great. I mean, no hate.
I think that's how I see it too. I mean, this is kind of what you expect when you see a new player coming into the roster. You don't really expect him to be like the G.O.A.T that comes in and just absolutely fries and everybody else on the team drops off. You know, you want him to play his role and figure out what his role is within the team. And I think he's done a good job of that. We've seen Navi win some good maps. I mean, they were on a big downfall for the start of this year, and they did not look good. And it looks like they maybe bounced off that, and they're starting to go back up.
Yeah, and we have a clip from the Navi and Nip game from earlier today on Nuke.
Wait, we're doing the pistol. We're doing the pistol. This is my pistol. Wait, we're just gonna go run out. Look, this is mine.
That's why I'm benched.
I don't think that's the clip that they wanted to see.
Okay, that was crazy. They just got mowed down. Like
They did. Dualies are crazy.
The dualies on
It's
top
also
of
funny
that.
that JL is comment over that, which is the better part.
yeah. But at least they turned it around. That was them getting absolutely wiped. They did win the series, so they turned it around.
They did. They did.
Moving
And then Navi after that one went on to play FaZe, who FaZe have been really fun to watch this tournament, I think, with the Brokey
Yeah.
I agree.
over there.
Yeah.
I've really been enjoying watching them play. But FaZe did fall to Navi, and Navi took it down 2-0. The Inferno was close. The Ancient was not.
It does feel, I mean, you're looking at a .76 from Brokey over there, and it just continues to beg the question of, like, would the simple move have been worth it? Like, is this, you had this player before, you didn't get the results you wanted, and now we've got him back, and you still didn't make the bracket.
No, you just want to talk about simple. That's all
No,
this
that's the thing.
is.
It's like, if you're FaZe, though, and you care about the stars on your jersey, this move doesn't get you any closer to another star on your jersey. I'm not saying simple does, but I'm saying doing nothing also does not help.
I want to say I think it's really impressive, though, that Navi was able to win this 2-0 against FaZe because FaZe was looking pretty good in this event up until this match, and they just got completely shut down. Every person on Navi was positive this game, and I think I just want to touch again like how the improvements that they've made with adding this Mikaze kid to the roster. I mean, that's a serious feat. FaZe was definitely better in a better spot than Navi going into this event, and just 2-0 them like they did. It's the second time they beat them this event, too. It's impressive for me.
Huh. Okay, cool. Next segment, we're talking about the Falcons and the Falcons alone. We do have a video for this too as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead and play the clip.
It's lit.
See it. Let's see the Falcons clip.
Just remember, no expectations, no pressure from any of us. Just play and enjoy the game.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate it. Glad to see a PC again. It's still so weird to not see Emil here. He was like a brother to me. But given you are the next tongue, being lonely will be worth it.
What the? I never said that.
Dong Fu, Dong 2.0 right there, man. Bro, chat used to spam 600k with me, and you're like, what, 2 million, right? Bro, you're gonna start liking it when you'll get like 3-4 MVPs, trust me.
Give us a major. Give us a major. Give us a major.
Guys, please calm down.
Finally, Kovic, brata. Finally, man.
I'm pretty sure that's the face he was making when they got eliminated. It's crazy.
It didn't age well.
It did beautifully.
Because they literally put all the weight on his shoulders, and then all of them crumbled around him.
They should start the next major they play in, or the next event they play in. They should flip the script and be like, Kyosuke standing behind all them and be like, no pressure, guys, no pressure to them, and be like, please help me out.
There's this content creator called RDC One World. They used to do these skits with like LeBron yelling at his teammates. They need to do that, but let him yell at his teammates. I give you a major. I need you to give me not a .69 in a series, brother.
When we saw the first move for the Falcons, which was when Monesi joined them, not the first move, but the first of kind of like the overall pre-Kyosuke, they did really well in an event. I think it was the Dallas event that happened, but it was like they got a third place finish. But since then, they have been knocked out early. The major that just happened, this one, it's like the woes continue for the Falcons, and you would expect them to kind of find this groove of performance, and they just cannot find it.
I'm pretty sure they won one of the like Blast Rivals or some tournament like that.
yeah.
That Vitality didn't participate in. And they have looked good at times, but they just are so inconsistent. It's also so weird that you take a player like Mondesi, who has been consistently the third best player in the world, and this event, he had not been in the top 10, like not close to not being in the top 10, and it's just not good.
I think it's weird too. I want to talk about this because you said something about the money earlier, and it's like, for me, I feel like it's got to be something with that. I mean, these guys are pretty much everybody on this team is proven that they can play. I mean, Kixon and Tesses, they led Heroic to be one of the best teams in the world. Nico and Mondesi were on G2. They were one of the best teams in the world. Kyosuke is one of the best talents, and like that's a young. Something's going on. And one thing that was interesting to me was Kyosuke was interviewed at the very start of this event by one of the ESL guys, and he was talking about it. He was like, what really drew you to this organization? Like, you had the opportunity to join Spirit. What really drew you to join this team? And he literally was like, I don't know. And it's like, to me, it's like, if I'm a talent joining a team, there's a reason I'm joining it. You know, like I want to play with Nico. I want to play with Mondesi. I want to play with these guys. And he literally just kept spamming, like, I don't know. And to me, that screams, they paid me a lot of freaking money.
I was going to say, it sounds about like $2 million is probably the reason, give or take.
Yeah, and I think that, that could definitely be a problem here of why they're not performing. They all are getting paid so much money, and it's like, I mean, I don't have the same hunger to be the best player in the world.
Yeah, and it might be an IGL issue, honestly, the more and more I think about it. It's like Kixen maybe is not making the right play for them to be able to perform in the way that they want to from the player perspective.
Well, I mean, also when your superstar rifler who tries to put himself in the GOAT debate shows up with a .69 rating, it's like, bro, like, you could tell him to do what he wants to do all day, but if it doesn't click the head, it's real irrelevant. And that's how I felt. It just felt like Mondesi was missing shots. Nico kept getting caught in really weird spots. They got shot in the back so many times. Like, there were so many clips you would see throughout the weekend where it's like a Fury player, they just strafe in front of him and he shoots him in the back of the head. And it's like, what are you doing? Like, how did you not clear? Like, is this something you didn't communicate? You had counted everybody on the other side, or were you just not checking your corners? It's just weird moves.
Clearly discombobulated. They're letting people through different gaps that just shouldn't really be there. Someone should be at least picking it up or like having the knowledge, hey, someone's about to swing from here, and they just have no clue. And like you said, just getting shot in the back.
Yep.
Yeah, I would be curious to see how long they let this last before they decide to make a change, another change, and who it
Which
ends
is
up
crazy,
being, right?
And that's my biggest piece too, is like right now, I don't know what buyouts are going to be or how long contracts are, but like if I am a young prodigy coming into a situation, I think I'm going to immediately competing for championships. I'm texting Spirit and being like, hey, is there like an undo button? Like, your players are Donk's still the only positive guy. You need another one? Like, this ain't working out, bro.
Yeah. Like, hey, I don't have to. I mean, Kyosuke, obviously, he's like a star firepower guy like Donk, but there's no question in my mind that if he wanted to, he could form to a mold to be a different player and join that squad and be like, look, Donk, you still have the reins. Do your thing. I'm joining you. I can shoot straight as well. If you need me, let me know.
And could you imagine a T side where it's like, hey, let's 3v1 this Donk kid. Yeah, but what about the other one?
It's a 3v2. All right, we have no chance.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Falcons need a team to form around what they actually want to do instead of just buying all the best talent. Because I think they're just a good prime example of you can spend all the money in the world to get the supposed best talent in the world, but if all 5 of these players don't mesh and they don't play to their roles the way they want to be, it's like we got Magics to Kyosuke or whatever, the 2 completely different players that play completely different. Like Magic's was a lurker, flank, slow playing thing. He's completely different. So it's like you throw somebody like this on the team, you're throwing off the dynamic right there, and people got to switch roles of what they want to do. And it's about like what works best for each Falcons player. Whatever Nico's doing right now is not working.
Yeah, fix it.
And Magic's was their primary util guy too. So it's like you take him away and you bring in a guy who's literally only shooting straight with an AK. It's like, okay, someone has to change their role now. Who's it going to be? So
not only that, but it's like, to your point, it's like if you look at the roster and you look at everybody and trying to figure out what they're doing, you're currently getting memed because you're throwing Inferno sights on a 4v1, right? Like it's like literally a joke troll. You do it again on Dust. It's like that's got to get to your head. So it's like, not only are you not playing well, if you're Nico, it's like, how do you recoup out of that? It's you're never going to win a major, Nico. Nico, no major. Get out of here. Like, who cares? It's like, how do you get out of that? Because it feels like they should have played in the Fissure playground and smoked everybody there because, like, dude, you got some mental problems. Like, I think every player in that game in the correct server can be a top fragger. If any player in that roster won an MVP at the next event, you would not be surprised. But none of them are playing like that other than the kid.
And they're getting 4v1 too. It's like, dude, you have 4 like solid, really 5 like household names of Counter-Strike, and they're getting 4v1. Like, what the heck's going on?
I know you want to introduce this next one.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Why don't you just tell us about your boy over here?
We've got some beautiful news in the Counter-Strike world. It probably stopped the world. The heartbeat of the community has officially returned. It is sad to see after 9 beautiful years, Sasha himself, Simple, is no longer on Navi. He is signed to basically a tier 3 organization. It is what it is. He said it himself. One wise man once said, if you want to come back to a tier 1 scene, you need to join a tier 3 team. Those are his words, not mine. I think they're probably slightly better than a tier 3 team, especially now that he's on there. But yeah, so he's back. Do you think that is he correct? Is this the correct path to do it?
This is a money play. He just wants to get paid some money. He's trying to figure out how he can make it in the world, I think, more than anything else. That's my opinion on it. Now, is he going to grind through and get to a different caliber so that he can kind of upgrade? Maybe, right? But right now, he's just trying to get some reps in and get a little bit of cash in his pocket. That's my opinion.
I'm not sure how I feel about it, because I do think there is, like, I think what he said is valid. Like, if he's been out of the game, I mean, the last time he really played the game at a high level, it was a completely different game. It was CSGO, not CS2. So, I mean, just jumping right into competition, it's going to be hard, obviously. And I think it's good, to join a tier 3 team and like he's saying, like just work his way back up. But like CJ said, it's a question of like, is he going to do it? Is he really going to try to put in the work? I hope he does. But I mean, being on top of the world, knowing that like, hey, I was once the greatest and now I'm on a tier 3 team. Like, I mean, it's one of two ways. Hopefully he takes the way.
He's not good enough to carry a team in the fact that he's got 3 players that are unknown and an unknown spot that might. Now, if they go through rebuilding and they find some other players to go around them, there might be something to be said there, but Simple himself is not good enough to carry this team out of the spot they're in.
Yeah, I don't think it's not to tier 1. No, I think it's like if you put this team, this exact roster as it sits in Fisher Playground, I don't know that they win, but they're exciting. They're a team to watch. And now I'm not going to say they're beating Vitality and they're not going to be Spear. You've got no chance of that. You're probably not even making it to the bracket in any capacity. But stage 1 of this event, like they would be exciting to watch. They would be a fun team that you'd be like, hey, immediately I'm watching this. They're going to sell a ton of tickets. Their Twitter followers went up by like 20,000.
Sure.
Like I'm certain this is a great marketing play. But my loose understanding of the situation is if you're Navi, you're going to charge a ton of money for him to go to an org like FaZe or an org where he is going to compete against you because you do own his contract. So you would be more willing, if he wants to play, I do think it's probably respectable that they honored that and are like, hey, we'll let you go somewhere, but it's not anybody that's going to be playing us. So this is the best option he got that was like egregious money for big tier 1 orgs or tier 2, tier 3 orgs, whatever. Just go ahead. Have a good day.
It will be exciting to watch the qualifiers for them now. So can they beat like a Saw or a Bet Boom or one of those heroic teams that's kind of in there that runs those tier 3 scenes? Like, can they
if you're the org that purchased him in this capacity, it's like if he goes in the first couple tournaments he plays in, he just walks the field and can carry them to deep into tournament runs. Immediately, you're going to have a Negma, a Heroic, a G2. Those orgs are going to be like, we'll pay the buyout, whatever. Like, cool, he's good enough to be on Heroic. He's good enough to be on G2. He's good enough to be on these squads. And I think if you're him and you want to come back and you want to be that player again, it's like, that is probably your best bet. Beat the crap out of bad kids, get into the middle of the field, beat the crap out of people in the middle of the field, move to the top. Now, I know Haterade over here is about to tell us why he's the worst player in the world, but
no, actually, no, not really. I mean, on last episode, I said that him going into FaZe for Dallas in the major was a bad idea and tarnished his reputation because of stuff like this. This is what I wanted him to do. He's been out of the game for so long, he can't just jump back in like he's still the GOAT that he thinks he still is. You got to start from your humble beginnings and work your way back up. I'm perfectly fine with this. I think this is great for Simple, and it's great for him, and hopefully he can get back to that, and we can see him on a FaZe or Spirit or whoever, Mouse, anybody. I think he can definitely get to that level, and this is a nice, humble way of doing it, unless he throws it all away, of course.
I do think the hardest piece in the throwing it all away is like, we do know he's a little bit of an exciting player. We do know he likes to celebrate and enjoy his victories. And, like, he is probably about to smoke this level of talent. Just because I think there's levels and the people at that level are not going to go to the top level. So it's like, how big does his head get? Like, if he's just dropping 30 bombs every match, 30 and 5 every game, it's like, how long before he's like, man, I'm going to start partying it up again. Somebody will sign him. Who cares?
I think one thing that'll be challenging for him too is kind of like you said, like the guys in tier 3 it's nowhere near the same caliber as like a tier 1 player. And like his mind, he's still a tier 1 player. And not saying like he thinks he's a tier 1 player, like the way he sees the game and his understanding of the game, he's still a tier 1 player in that aspect, but he just can't really perform at that level right now. And so my question is he going to get checked out playing with these guys in these events? Like if he's popping off kind of donk style and his teammates aren't really able to get to that level and they're losing games, does he get checked out? And so
that would be really frustrating.
Yeah,
and like I do find him like in that scenario where he's performing enough to be able to win, but his teammates kind of fall apart on him. I see that happening. I also see him taking a streaming path too, right? He could just kind of transition into case opening or like something like that. Like he definitely would do that kind of thing as well.
100%.
My biggest thing is that I'm curious if you're Navi, like, I don't know logistics around this. Maybe academy teams, you can't put dudes that are in their 30s on their team anymore. But, like, imagine if he goes to the academy team and he just works with the next generation players. Because, like, who do you want to teach you? The guy that's literally the GOAT or, like, a 17-year-old kid?
That's not who he is. Like, he's not like the coach and the trainer. He's like the performer. He's like Mondesi. Like,
sure. I'm also certain that Navi would be like, hey, listen to him in game, out of game. Do not listen.
Are you saying
it would be interesting to see his style of approach for coaching too?
100%.
Is it constructive or is it like you freaking suck? Like you need to do this.
Well, it's also like you see Donk playing on NA teams and face it. Also Simple is on the same thing about yelling at people about smokes and like, what are you doing? Where are you going? So it's like I don't know how constructive it would be, but if this is a redemption arc, like there's a lot of plot holes in his character other than in the server. So hopefully this is a full serve redemption.
Yeah. See, I'm gonna watch the stuff that he's qualifying
I think we all are.
in for sure, and so that's.
It's got 20,000 new followers on an unknown team.
I think it would be cool. I wanted to say this too because I think this is a team that if he continues to like grow, I think it would be really cool to see him on a team like B8 from Ukraine, like going to there and being that they're a homegrown Ukrainian team, like joining that team and helping them out. So I think that would be cool.
Totally.
Yeah, it would. The other thing that happened in the middle of this tournament, and I don't know if everyone knew. Somebody knew somewhere, I'm certain. But ultimately, there was a patch that was released last night. So very, very recently. And not major updates. It's not like we remade the whole map. But we did make changes to certain angles and other things like that. Now, ESL came out and said, hey, we're not going to implement this patch immediately. We're going to test it out and make sure it works. And then we're going to implement it potentially at a later date. Or they might just play through on the original patch they were starting on. Which I think is fair. But it's just definitely begging the question of like who knew about this and how did it happen and do we like that? Do we think it's significant on the change side?
I think the train one is actually pretty significant. I think their changes to B site in specific is actually kind of crazy. The one thing I want to say is like they were teeter-tottering if they're going to put it in for playoffs or not. I think if they put it in, I think it's going to be really exciting for the field because you have a team like Vitality who instant bans Ancient every single time. Well, now they're going to be faced with 3 maps are like pretty significantly changed. And so which map do you ban? There's going to be a lot of strategy changes within teams. And it's like Vitality being a team that's so comfortable on all these other maps other than Ancient, like what do you ban now? And now it's kind of an even field.
It's also you would be taking Inferno out of their pool because Inferno is one of the ones that their B site, the whole coffin area is kind of redone. There's now a banister over on the A site that you now have to hop over and there's basically no silent movement around it, which is weird. And it's like, that is one of Vitality's like highest win rate maps. So it just, I don't know, it changes things really quickly. I don't know if you're a player right now. Like, do you say go home, practice the new map, or do you say go home, we're going to convince ESL not to run it? Like, what's the strat?
I don't. From a major change perspective, though, I don't think a lot of nade lineups changed. I think there might be a little, like 1 or 2 nades that are like the nuance of them is a little different. But I don't think this impacts the play in a huge way for me. I mean, when I look at the changes, I don't think it's going to make it to where Vitality has a huge disadvantage now. It's like everyone has to deal with the same stuff, right?
Yeah, I think a Vitality would overcome it pretty quickly. But like what would happen for players is like if you go to check Coffin and you're used to checking certain heady points, and then somebody kills you from a new spot, you are going to be very perturbed by that. And it's like
defense first. We want to play defense first.
And it's like if you can't regain from that, that might check you out real quick. And it's like that is where you think a Donk, like he might get checked because he can't clear certain angles because he doesn't know them. But again, if Vitality feels like they're immortal, it's like at this point, nothing's going to faze them.
Well, I think low-key, if I was a player and I know that, like, Vitality's kind of immortal, I'm like, dude, run the patch, screw it. That'll give us our best chance to beat them.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I think also on B on Inferno with the windows being open for like retakes from CT, throwing stuff out of the church. I think that's pretty interesting because the sites on Inferno are just so hard to retake.
Unless you're playing Falcons.
Yeah, exactly. Then they can just 1v4 them and it'll be good.
there's also a box on train now in the middle where you can get up on top of the train a little bit easier, and so that's a little bit of a defensive upgrade, I think, for the
100%.
CT side on that map.
Yeah, I think a backside plaque looking down at the trains is like longer with like a new kind of ADS spot.
And that like where you come through the little connector spot, there used to be that like crazy head glitch when you were going from A to B, and now they've eliminated that. I used to hate that head glitch as a player, so I'm so glad it's gone.
So we're team new patch for the playoffs.
I am. I think so. I think it throws in like some crazy narratives. Well, you like
That
vitality,
says-
so
That says no.
Well, one, you guys are talking about the wrong stuff. The patch ruined bee hopping and
That's true.
animations. So that's the real thing here. I don't care they opened up a window Inferno. I can't bee hop. All right, that is very important. And my bayonet knife that I don't have pulls out different.
I kind of like that.
The-
It's like a
wait,
reverse flip
those
though.
are the-
Yo, it's kind of lit.
I did not even know they changed the bayonet. That's actually
Yeah,
insane.
so
That was my
it
favorite
flips
line.
underneath now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to see
but
it,
it
'cause
looks
I love
kind of
that knife.
Sick.
of weird. Nah, it's sick, but it looks kind of weird too in the typical Valve way, where it looks like it's just floating over the glove. It's a weird thing, but no, I think they should stay on this patch. In all seriousness, the tournament started on this patch. It should end in this patch, and they implement this going forward. I think it's like choosing it here at the very end is just like a recipe for chaos.
I think that's the most fair thing you could say. I still think they should do it so Vitality might lose.
That's exactly how it is.
Like,
Like,
it's chaos.
The competitive integrity, they should leave
No,
it.
no,
but,
I'm
like,
not saying they
throw
will.
it
You
up
mean to
there.
tell me that Apex and them hasn't already been sitting
Hey.
there sniffing out the new Inferno changes and
It's
stuff?
going to be the.
He's been sniffing something, but
Oh,
it's
yeah.
blue.
It's going to be the difference in an 8% chance of losing and a 10% chance of losing. Like we're not pushing it to 50 here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Vitality. This is
Who's going to
people
beat
who chance to
Vitality?
lose, dude. I don't know.
You know what? Speak of that, let's go to the bracket really quick. Pat, who do you think is going to take the bracket? I want to know now. Is Vitality
Well, I
the winner for
gotta
you?
go down my line. So I have Mal's winning. I have Mongols winning. Then I obviously have Vitality winning. Spirit beating the Mongols, and then of course Vitality beating Spirit. That's how my prediction is going. I can't talk about it right now because we got to move to the
We're
next
going to come back
one,
to
so,
Dylan.
yeah.
Show us yours. What you got, Dylan?
So over here, we've got Mal's getting the victory in the first round, only to lose to Vitality. Then I actually think the Mongols are going to get beat by Navi here. I actually like the new kid. I think he's been getting better every series. I think Mongols, sometimes they throw some games. I think they're probably not going
Save
to play
your
their best.
explanation for the end.
Also, Spirit's going to win, and then unfortunately, I don't think there's any beating like Vitality.
The production team is laughing at you right over here. I'll show you mine next. You guys are crazy. The Mongols is going to be a replay of the Blast Major. My guy Spirit's not going to take down the Mongols. Not going to happen. Not here today. Go ahead.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Yes,
Just throw it again.
sir.
I got the same exact thing. But I will say, I think the Navi shout over Mongols is a good shout. I think Navi's look tremendous. And I actually picked this before they smacked FaZe like they did today.
Yeah.
And the fact that they beat FaZe in the fashion that they did, I think Navi's like a serious force for this event.
So back to the original conversation, Pat. You say somebody's going to take down Vitality, but you didn't actually say that in your bracket prediction. Huh? So
No,
nobody's going to beat Vitality.
No, because the way it's always been is it's just Vitality's game to lose. I think eventually at some point they get to a point where it's just they're going to kind of have a bad game and somebody's going to take advantage of it. But my betting brain is saying not Vitality's winning. There's not a team that's close. I just want to see Spirit face Vitality again, just so I can go to Dylan and be like, see, he just can't do it. Zawu is the GOAT.
Dude, I think
that's just
Donk
facts.
can do it. I think his 4 teammates can't
Hey,
do
well, he's the one who chose to be on that team, Russian team. He's Russian. They want to be on that team.
Dude,
hey,
I like Shiro.
do.
I'm fine with Chopper as an IGL. I think he's fine. I don't think he's amazing, right?
My thing is,
But
if you look at if it is Spirit versus Vitality, and you take those 10 players and you were to rank them 1 through 10, I'm going to go Donk, Zywoo and Rops, Flames, and then what, maybe Shiro, then Apex? Like, at best, Shiro is 5 out of that. The second player on Spirit is at best 5.
Yeah, I would agree.
Most
When you line
probably
them up
6.
side by side, Vitality just clears them. I don't think Spirit's bad at all, but I think Vitality's just like so good.
I mean, this is why I like the Mongols. It's because they don't have a clear number 1, but they play really well together.
Sure.
Very
And
similar.
all of them have popped off at different times. And it's just about, that's why it's like, I think Mongols have the best shot because if 2 of them pop up at the right time against Vitality, I think they're the only one that can.
My thing is, if we argue that Brokey is either similar or better than Spirit or Simple in his current capacity, you see what Navi just did to FaZe. What did the Mongols do to FaZe at the major? That was a close game. That was very hard fought.
But they had Simple then. That's it.
Y'all are saying that Brokey is as good as, if not better, and that's what I'm saying. They had an improvement, and Navi just hands them.
Okay, to be clear, the upside of FaZe exists in 2 players and 2 players alone, and that's Frozen and Rain.
Sure.
And when those 2 win their 1v1s, they win everything, right? And ultimately, the player that can push them over the edge where they could be like a number 4 team is Elige. And Elige has not been doing his job on that team. Frozen and Rain have carried them to every spot they've been in this spot, and the whole year, honestly.
Sure.
But that's why they played the Mongols.
Kerrigan
that
can't
time.
get double-digit kills.
That's also normally an insta-ban for that team, too. Anubis is like,
weird
like
moves.
yeah, that map played weird, and I think Mongols took advantage of it.
But I do think that's an easy correlation there because, like, if you're Navi right now, every game they play, they have looked better. And it's because they have a new player that has never played on their roster before. So they are trending upward. And I think that they're upward, maybe upward enough to where they get to the Mongols and are like, what do we got to lose?
Yeah.
No more JL, who cares? If we lose this, it's house money. And then if you're 9-10 in those cats, you start falling behind because, like, we saw them versus Vitality. At times, they looked scary. And then when they fell behind, there was no coming back. They got buried quick.
I will say, I really do think Navi is a scary team to match up against. I could see them beating Mongols. Obviously, I have Mongols to go all the way, but I could see them beating them.
Navi's bad.
Yeah.
Navi is
I'm big team that my excitement here is that you have the Mongols beating Spirit, and you think the Mongols are number 2.
I do.
I think that the Mows would hands the Mongols, and I think Spirit will hand the Mongols.
I've done this before, okay? I put the Mongols on this pedestal, and they've disappointed me. And there's actually Mows more than Mows had Mongols number for a little while, where they just the Mongols could not beat Mows no matter what they did. So
I do.
The fact that they got the other side of the bracket, and I don't think the upside of Spirit is there. So
I'm very hopeful that I don't think Mows have the consistent firepower to beat Vitality, but I'm hoping that the Mows game versus Vitality somehow spends enough of their energy to where a Donk can hero a weakened Vitality. I don't think it's going to happen. You clearly saw my bracket. I did not pick that.
I mean, that's
coping.
also part of this is like that's going to be a best of 5, and Donk cannot carry 3 maps through.
I
He might be able to get you
Best
one
of
or two,
3, you got a
like,
chance.
Yeah,
but
best
of
of
5
3
is hard.
Yeah, it's not going to
I don't know. I think Spirit are the best chance in this tournament to go up against Vitality. I think to Chopper's credit, even though the man can't shoot a rifle to save his life, to his credit, with
Pistol
their
Demon.
cause, I think that they are the best team to be able to match up against Vitality and potentially beat them. With just the way they play the game. Not necessarily their players. Like, obviously, Donk is going to do his thing and whatnot, but just the way they play the game, I think they could potentially have a chance to beat Vitality right here. And nobody else has that.
One thing I think is kind of interesting, though, I've just been sitting here thinking about it more and more and more, is like Navi, with the new addition of Makaze, they're like a brand new team. Vitality hasn't played them yet. They have no clue how they're going to come out and play them. So if Navi could make it to the game, I think that could be interesting, especially because if Navi makes it all the way there, they beat Spirit and they beat Mongols, like 2 really good teams.
Yeah.
So they're on a big run, got a lot of confidence.
There's also another weird dark horse team. I don't think they're going to make it.
Good this
Look at the score. Can you show us the score for Furia and G2? They're playing right now. I don't remember who won map 1. I think Furia took it. But ultimately, G2 is another team that's in a really weird place right now because they auto-qualified to stage 2, right? They've gone through tremendous roster issues. They've got money now. Yeah. That's right. And so ultimately, this is one of those where it's like, G2 is such in a strange spot, but they do have money to be able to go buy some players. And ultimately, they might make it to the playoffs here. It's 12-12 right now on Inferno. So they're in overtime, right? Well, and then
Furia won map 1.
I mean, Furia, are you taking Furia against Mouse if they do pull this out? Or
No, I don't.
do you think G2 has
I don't
a
think
shot?
either of these teams really have a good chance against Mouse. I think Mouse is too good. I like Furia. I think that Fallen squad does look good at times, but just not enough. Mouse is a good team.
G2 is kind of improved with the moves that they've made with Sunpius and having Saul as the coach now. I think they've looked better this event than they were previously.
And that's my thing is like they went from like having this weird kind of identity where I think they're finding a little bit of their footing and they can stand up to some of the top teams. Now, beat them, I don't know, but they can stand up to them at least.
They're getting there. Yeah.
I also think, to your point, Pat, I think that I agree with the Spirit is the best chance to take down Vitality, but like the problem is it's like you have to consistently for 3 games have Donk take out Rops and Mezzi. He's got a 2v1 those two. And if he can, and then you need Shiro to go 50-50 with Zaiwu. And I'm not saying that if Zaiwu has an average day and Shiro has his best day, it's a very plausible outcome. But you need Shiro to have his best day, Zaiwu to have an average day, Rops and Mezzi to have an average or slightly below average day. And that's the only chance you have.
You need the patch change.
maybe you need the patch
They
change.
just had to play him. I think it's one of those things to where it's like, yes, everybody on Vitality, if we exclude Donk, is pretty much better than everybody on Spirit. But I think it's just like, if they want to beat Vitality, the way to beat Vitality is not by fighting them face to face, unless you're Donk. Donk's like the only one that can potentially get away with it. And that's if Vitality let him get away with it, because they're the ones to stop him from doing that. But they have to just play the maps the way that they want to play them, and they just have to be, as silly as it sounds, they just got to be smarter than Apex. And they just got to make the right calls. They got to be able to read what's going on. And that's really all they need. If Vitality is on T side, all they got to do is have some good reads into what's going on in Apex's mind. And you can stop whoever on that team. Because it's not just like one-to-one fighting. You know, use your utility goods, use everything. But it's like, that's the hard part. Is Apex leads that team, and their strats they do is what leads them to these.
Yeah, but the biggest problem is right now is we just put so much, Valve just put so much emphasis on the CT side with the new CT economy. So it is more rich. And the biggest advantage of Spirit is that man named Donk with an AK on T. And it's like you just kind of nullified that a little bit with these new T changes. But I do think another thing that we haven't really talked about a whole lot is Zwei, because he's got a good chance of being like what you're saying. They've never played him. Nobody really has at this level have a ton of data on him. You have none with him with Spirit. First time we get to see that combination, similar to the Falcons setup. Magix was a little bit of kind of like a late follow-up kind of player. He wasn't really like an ego aggressive. It seems so far that Zwei has been a little bit more of a lurker at times, playing off-site, playing in weird places. And it's like if he plays in weird enough places and you can catch Apex's strategies off guard and you can do some weird stuff that's just weird enough, it could be a fluke and Spirit could win. Again, if they play 100 times, I'm going to take Vitality, the majority of them. But this is probably one of the best chances we might see Spirit take him down.
So you guys, just to be clear, number 2 team outside of Vitality for you is?
Right now, it's Spirit.
Pat?
No, I'm going to have to
say Mouse.
I think I want to say Mouse. I think Mouse are just more consistent.
But I don't disagree. But at the beginning of the year, we got to see Spirit beat Mouse. And then we saw them do nothing but lose to them for about 6 months. And then one series with a new player, they have beat them.
Davis, number 2?
I think I'd probably say Mouse as well. I think Spirit's obviously really, really close, and they did just beat him. So it's kind of like I said earlier in the episode. I think Vitality is just on a pedestal by themselves, and then there's like 3 to 4 teams that you could kind of interchange at second. So
weird. Nobody mentioned Falcons.
Dude, I want the Falcons to be number 2. Like, I want them to be this spot so bad.
It's crazy. I think they were number 2 in the power rankings, and I think they were number 2 prediction in the major and this event. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Not performing, for sure. I mean, I'm obviously number 2 Mongols, so we'll see.
Who's your 3 at least?
My 3 is probably Mouse. I actually put them over Spirit.
Okay. Cool. Well,
they always play close. Those 2 teams play each other super close.
It's always a banger every time.
Totally.
And I just
Navi beats
once again, the only thing that I can control, I say control, is Donk going to have a good game. Most times, yes, but when he does not, you lose. And so
100%.
that's a weird variable to play with, right?
The good news is he's had about 3 bad games in 2 years. So
I just don't like him. He's a little.
He's like a squirrel looking.
The true squirrel.
Rat.
Wow, you don't like him because of his looks,
Yeah.
TJ?
Yeah, I feel like he might stab me.
The real question that we need to talk about, so is Apex's baldness increase your preference on Apex or decrease?
I think decrease.
Okay.
I don't like.
You got against bald.
I don't like bald guys.
Whoa.
They're
Wow,
scary.
What do you mean?
Hey, the other big, the other thing.
What do you mean? I want him. Wait, hold up. I want him to elaborate on what he's saying.
I don't know. Bald guys tend to, not have as much hair on their head. That's
true.
That's a great observation. That's a great observation.
Maybe I'll be there when
I also
myself.
think it would be beyond poetic, the first event that Vitality play with a 10-inch stake banner on their chest they didn't win, I think that'd be poetic.
Actually, as a matter of
That'd be
fact,
great.
yeah, I actually want Vitality to lose. Now that I think about it.
That's how you really get them riled up.
I just can't wait for next week when Navi beats the Mongols and how much I'm going to hate this conversation.
Hey,
That's
somebody
what I said to him a second ago.
Somebody's
Yeah,
bracket.
beat the
It's
Mongols.
wild. Somebody's bracket has that. It's
What,
crazy.
Navi beats the Mongols and Spirit beat Vitality.
I wanted to put that, but I couldn't. I did it for the coin, and I now have a freaking bronze coin probably or something like that.
Yep.
We're not going on copium anymore.
Coin doesn't count.
Vitality's winning this.
There you go. You heard it here first on Queued Up. Vitality is winning IEM Cologne. If we are wrong, go ahead and push the dislike button, unfollow us, and call it a day. And then make sure you know that Pat made that call.
It just can't be about the Mongols thing. We are not responsible for the Mongols being the second best team in the world. I want to make sure that that's
just his decision.
just him.
Just him. Just this.
And Kepley.
Unless it's right, it's all of us.
And
If it's right, it's absolutely all of us. We 100% agreed. We never doubted him.
It's funny because I was the Mongols hater for a little while, and then I was the Monacy hater for a little while, and the whole world has just changed for me. So here we go. All right.
Go Mongolia!
Let's go Mongols. Enjoy the show. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Hopefully Vitality lost to somebody.